Hello everyone. I wanted to get on here and talk to you a little bit about making wishes come true. Some call it manifesting, and the energy around that. Because I'm constantly talking about that with clients, so I thought I'd do a little video. I also have my program called HEAP of Abundance. HEAP stands for Happily Ever After Program of Abundance course. So it's actually a whole course I teach on how to create the life of your dreams that you are meant to live, so that it's fulfilling in every way, and that you're full of gratitude and there's just abundance always coming in. I know I went through a lot of shifts in order to get where I am right now, but I am truly living a life of my dreams. I'm doing what I love. I finally found that thing that I wanted to do, and I'm lucky enough to make money at it as well, and provide food on my table and a roof over my head and things like that. So what I do as Lady Rose, your spiritual Sherpa of sorts, is I show you through different techniques and rituals and things like that of how to create your own life. First of all, we excavate a little bit and we find what it is you're looking for, because a lot of people come into this program and they're not even sure what they want or what they are looking for. So I had a little crumb on my jacket there. Anyways, so there's a few different tips that I want to offer today that you can go through, rewatch this video to remind yourself of these tips. I often myself like to be reminded because sometimes we all need reminders. So I've got some written down here. So one is belief is necessary if wishes are going to come true. So you really have to believe in the wish. And I'm going to give you a lot of really good tips because, you've probably heard some of these things like whatever you think, your thoughts become your reality. There's got to be emotion behind it, la, la, la. You got to feel good about it. You got to do it as if it's in the present moment. And those are all good tips. Don't get me wrong. Those are all correct. But there's a few other things I want to offer you that perhaps will help you grasp onto some of those buzz phrases and things like that. So making a wish and controlling a wish are two different things. So that's one thing I talk about a little bit too. So, and there's a lot of paradoxes because there's a lot of times where I'm telling clients, you don't have to control everything. Not everything in your life can be controlled. The only thing you can truly control is your reaction to the things that happen to you in life. And it's understandable to go into some of those darker places, like if you get angry, if you get jealous, if you're going through grief, if you get betrayed, it's okay to react to those. But I always say don't live there. And we do have to let go of things. But when you're making a wish, you can't just, and I've had clients do this, say, well, I just wish for it. I just put it out there. And it's like, well, you can't just put it out there and then sit on your couch and wait for it to come. So that's where the controlling of the wish is. But the trick to it is you have to let go and control at the same time. And that is, you have to know what you're supposed to control. As humans, we want to over control or overcorrect sometimes. And we want to control the things that we're supposed to let go of. And the things that we've let go of are actually what we're supposed to control, because we feel it's easier to control these things as opposed to those things. So making a wish is great, but controlling a wish is where real manifestation comes in. So we're going to talk about that. And like I said, you can't control everything in your life. So at the same time, you also have to kind of go with the flow. So I've got an old saying here that I really like. It's wishing will not get the cows milked. So it's great to wish that the cows are milked, but you actually have to sit with your stool and milk the cows. So the other thing too is the magic of making our wishes come true is called manifestation. That's what manifestation is. It's controlling that wish, that desire, that intention, whatever label you want to put on it. It's pretty much all the same thing. And manifestation is learning how to control that thought of that wish desire or intention and bringing it into our life and not just walking away from it, because the universe very rarely says no. I actually do a whole seminar and workshop on the 3 answers the universe will give us, and one of them is not no. So the manifestation is the controlling part. It's the part of the process of making it happen, because we have to work with the universe in order to allow those things to come in. We have to understand some of the basics of energy as well when we place that desire out there. We also have to be very careful and mindful of what we're truly wishing for. I mean, it's one thing to say, I really would love a brand new red car. You know, that's great. But then you go out and say, oh, cars are such a pain in the ass. They're just big money pits. You know, I don't know. I can't afford a car, la, la, la. And then you're putting out those blocks. You've put the wish out there, but then you're sort of slapping the universe in the face and saying, no, 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 I don't want that, because now all your follow-up statements are how terrible cars are. And then you wonder why, well, my manifestation of a new car didn't come in. Did you watch what you were saying? You have to be very mindful of your vocabulary and of your thoughts, because your vocabulary is really your thoughts just coming out through your mouth kind of thing, right? So we send out and we draw energy to us. So everything that's in your life is there because you drew it to you. So think about that and own that. And everything that's not in your life is because you put out or you pushed it away with that energy, because we can draw things and we can push things. So recently I've been doing a lot of my herbal spells and mixing up my herbal mixtures. They've been really big on Etsy, so I've been thinking about that a lot as far as plant energy, because plant energy works in the same way. Plants are capable of drawing certain insects, energy, whatever it might be, because we all know, like, there's plants that attract butterflies, for instance. So they're putting out an energy that attracts the butterfly because it's beneficial to them. Plants can also repel certain bugs or insects that might be detrimental to them. We are the same way. We can draw in energy and we can push out energy. So we have to be careful and mindful of what we're drawing in and what we're pushing away. And when we really start to own everything in our life is here because I placed it here. Everything that's not in my life that I want is not here because either it's coming or I've pushed it away in some way, right? So think about what your thought process is. And yes, I grant you, there are things in life that you can't control that come in for whatever reason. There's always a bit of randomness. We got to learn to roll with that and know that that's part of the path, right? So we're not just physical, we're also emotional and mental. And because of this, we must put emotional and mental energy into the process of drawing something physically into our world. We start with the mental energy, and the mental energy is that initial ding, here's what I want, here's my desire, here's my wish. Okay, so we must use that energy to start with visualizing and imagining what the wish is, like, what, as if it's already ours. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, because sometimes people have a hard time with, you know, it's got to be in the present moment, as if you've already got it. It's not when, it's, you know, I mean, it's not if, it's when this thing comes into me. Like my new red car comes in 3 days and it's going to be great. I love it. You know, thank you so much for it, that sort of thing. So if we want to make our wishes come true, we must put emotional energy into this process. Although we don't want to use the emotional energy of desire. So here's the trick. Because a lot of people, even though they're talking present tense and they're trying to think present tense, they're still putting that energy of desire around their wish or intention or desire, right? So you're still putting that energy. You have to shift that energy, because that's not the energy you want, because that means that it's in the future. When you desire something, it's in the future, and it's always going to be coming, you know, in. but it's never going to actually arrive. So what you want to embrace instead is the emotion of anticipation. So the best way I have of illustrating that is think back when you were a child, because we were so open then. We were so capable of drawing in anything we wanted. You know, it's just if we only maintained that inner child, and we're able to draw it out more often, because as adults we tend to get jaded. Also, as adults, we don't have the same kind of opportunities of anticipation that we had when we were kids, or we feel it's silly and we kind of dismiss it and go, no, I'm going to be an adult, I'm going to go into this seriously. So think of anticipation as a kid, when you were a kid. So think of, say, your birthday, for instance, the anticipation of the presents that were coming, the anticipation of the birthday cake, the anticipation of having your friends over for a party. Think of the anticipation of a sleepover, when you got to go for a sleepover at a girlfriend's house or something, and how excited you were to get there, and you know, we're going to stay up late and we're going to eat junk food and we're going to watch movies and we're going to write love letters to boys that we'll never give them to, and you know, things like that, right? Think of that anticipation. Of course, the big one, the anticipation of Christmas morning, when you still knew Santa was coming and he was going to put those presents under the tree. You didn't think that, oh, well, I'll be getting this, and you know, the present, you knew the presents were coming, you knew they were going to be there. You just had such faith, such anticipation that the presents were going to be there, they were going to be amazing, he's going to get you just what you wanted, and it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. And we lost that somewhere along the way when we became these adults that we are now. So I want you to, when you're wishing for something, have that energy, shift into that energy of anticipation, and wake up every morning as if it's Christmas morning. When I learned to shift into that energy, that's when things started coming in really quick for me. And every morning, I swear to God, is like Christmas morning to me. I am living a great life. I get everything that I want, need, and desire. And, you know, money comes in when I need it. Sometimes I get tested and I'm like, oh my God, am I going to make it for, you know, this month's rent or this month's, you know, bill or whatever it is. And it's always there when I need it. I always have a little bit more than I need, which is always nice, right? So it's been getting a little bit bigger, which is always nice, right? It's getting better, it's getting stronger. When I need things, they just arrive. I get gifts all the time, and it's out of weird places because I don't always put in where I need it to come from, because that is a part of the control that you don't need to control. The part that you need to control is you anticipating, having that inner kid-like anticipation of, oh my God, this is the day, it's going to arrive. And if it doesn't arrive that day, it's okay, it's going to arrive the next day. And having that faith like you did when you were a child, before you had your birthday or Christmas or that fun sleepover, get into that energy. Try to remember that energy and surround your wish with that energy. That's going to be a game changer for you. So you don't want a simple wanting or craving of something. That's a desire. And that's the energy that we often put around those things, as opposed to that anticipation. If we think, I really want that, or I wish I had that, there is an implied but. And but, I'm always talking about this to my clients, big buts. Don't let the big buts get in your way, because they're blockers. I really want that, but I can't have it. I really wish I had that, but I don't, right? When you follow that up with that but, and a lot of people will put buts in without realizing they do it. I've had so many clients sit in my chair and say, you know, I'd really like to change my life. I really want to do this HEAP program, but, and I'm like, whoa, you've already started putting blocks. So eliminate the big buts from your life. It's easier than dieting. And it'll bring good things into your life. It'll change your life. So yes, like I said, buts are the blocks or hinders of fulfillment of the wish. We must put into this practical or magical process the emotion of anticipation. We must anticipate that we are imagining what we are imagining and visualizing, and it's already on its way, and it's already here. It's here. I just gotta go and get it. That's all, right? And so every morning you wake up, you smile. And I do another seminar. I don't think I've done a video, but I will do a video on successful rituals that you can do that will create success in your life for the whole day and for the rest of your life. So every morning, the first thing I do, one of the first things you should do is smile, because it puts your brain into that mode of anticipation, of happiness, of gratitude, of abundance. So you start out just automatically there. And if I wake up in the morning and I've been kind of having like maybe a bad dream, like, and by bad dream, I don't mean a nightmare. I mean a dream where I'm worrying about something and I'm mulling it around because I'm sort of half awake, half asleep. And I often do now catch myself, oh, okay, so we're putting worry here. So we're going to stop and we're just going to smile for a minute. And I'll be half asleep in my bed, and then I'll smile and I'll realize, okay, things aren't so bad. So that's the big energy, is that an energy of anticipation. So the other thing, so we can't forget the physical. So it starts with the mental, and you've got to visualize, you've got to anticipate and imagine that it's already here, kind of thing. So like I said, it's not a desire, it's anticipation of your wish. So like I said, you can't forget the physical. Imagine that we wish to have a new job, for instance. Begin by visualizing it in as much detail as possible. Or if you want a new home, visualize the new home. What's it going to look like? What's it going to feel like when you sit down after a hard day's work and turn on the TV and just, I'm home, kind of thing, right? We picture all the wonderful things that are ours now because of this new job or because of this new home. And then we apply the emotional energy again. We know the job is ours. We know the home is ours. And we're excited about it. You have to be excited. You have to put emotion around it. So not just anticipation, but excitement. You can't just be like, yeah, it's a job. That's, it's not going to help you. We're already celebrating its arrival in our life. So celebrate, like I said, like it's here. Yeah, this is great. I've got a new home. I've got a new job, whatever it is. And all that we will have because of it. When you get a new job, hopefully you get, more time off, maybe it's a quality of life thing. Maybe it's more money, more prestige because you've got a different title that is a higher title than you had, whatever it might be. Maybe it's all three, maybe it's a couple of those things. But even if we've put forth the mental and emotional energy, if we do not do something physical to help bring it about, it will never manifest. So a new job, for instance, you got to put the resumes out there for the job you want. Like the old saying says, don't dress for the job you have, dress for the job you want. So start maybe dressing as if you've got that job, right? Same thing with a new home. You actually have to go out and look at homes or start, making budgets and pricing homes and seeing what comes with, different kinds of homes or what's involved, when the moving might happen, when the job might happen, that sort of thing, right? So, and what do you need to buy new things for the job? Is there certain equipment that you're going to need? Are you going to need a new briefcase perhaps, or whatever it might be? Look for what you need for those things and start physically making it happen, making the ball roll. So 2 secrets to very powerful manifesting. So this is what a lot of people don't know and sometimes leave out and will sometimes quit because they feel like they haven't manifested in their wish or their intention. So what happens? So I've talked about some of the energy just very briefly. So what happens once all that is in place? You're feeling good, you're smiling every morning's like Christmas morning, you're dressing for the job that you're about to get, you're ready to move into the house you're about to get, whatever it might be. Now there's 2 things that are going to happen, okay? So like I say, the universe rarely says no. I mean, it's got to be a pretty bad wish if it's saying, no, I'm not going to do that for you. But there's two laws. It's the law of giving and the law of receiving. So a lot of people, talk about how you have to be grateful for what you have in order to get what you want, right? So yes, you have to be grateful for what you have. And great gratitude does help to shift you so that you're happy with the life you're in. But you don't want to just be happy with the life you're in. As great as it is, you want to be moving forward. So as happy as I am in this life, and I've shifted a lot, which I'm very grateful for. And yes, the day I started shifting was the day I started a gratitude journal about 10 years ago. When I'd heard about gratitude journals and I was like, yeah, whatever kind of thing. I was going down a very jaded road for a while and I had to backstep quite a bit. But I started a gratitude journal, and I always say that was a pivotal point for me because that's when I started physically starting into this heap of abundance kind of program that I now have. So everything I offer to you in Heap of Abundance is stuff I use in my life to this day, and it's very effective. It works. I'm one of these girls that I'm a concrete girl. I don't like a lot of woo-woo. Even though I'm in a woo-woo industry, I'm very like, okay, here's what needs to be done. Here's some steps. Do this, do that, and it'll come kind of thing, right? So I have a lot of rituals and techniques that I do offer through the program as well. But I wanted to tell you, once you do start that manifestation in, there's two things that happen. And like I said, gratitude is one thing, but we still want to be moving forward. I don't want to just be satisfied with the life I have. I want to be constantly growing and expanding, which is beautiful. So the law of giving is about being about being grateful for what you have in your life, but it is, and this is not a big but, it is also about giving. So part of giving, and you have to give with full love, unconditional love, which means no judgment placed, and in a generosity that we might not always want to feel. Okay, so here's where I'm going to explain this a little bit. So part of being grateful for what you have is realizing you have so much, you have stuff to give as well. It could be money, it could be, used goods, like, someone comes in and says, I love this crystal. Oh, here, have it, because you need it, kind of thing. Or, I love that book. Oh, great, take it, it doesn't mean you have to give everything away when someone compliments you on something. But it could be that. It could be money, time, a listening ear, whatever it might be. So often I use the beggar on the street because we all, whatever community we're in, we all know that guy or that girl that sits on the corner and hopes that people will give them some spare change. And I always say you have to give to those people to really understand the law of giving, because a lot of people will place judgment on people that are begging for spare change. And you shouldn't place judgment on them because that's their path, right? And if you're going to give to them without judgment. I've been in a place where I've been so poor, I don't know where my next meal is coming from, where I'm making decisions of, do I want bread or do I want toilet paper? Because I can't afford both. Those are hard decisions to make. And when some people found out of the dire circumstances I was in, I had some very generous gifts given to me of bags of groceries and things like that. Awesome. Love it. Absolutely. However, when you really think about it, when you give to the food bank, are you giving the best of the best? Are you buying them rib steak? I know you can't give perishable items, but a lot of times, I know I've been guilty of it too. I give them, I haven't used this in a while. It's in the back of my cupboard, because sometimes they'll come around house to house and collect, canned goods, and I'll be like going to the back of my cupboard, what haven't I used in a while, or what am I probably not going to use? You know, I don't give them the stuff necessarily up front, right? So that was selfish of me. This was back before I shifted. I would do that. I would jokingly say it's a way for me to clean out my cupboards. And yes, it was nice of me to give, but sometimes I felt like when I was getting those things, and so I'm really glad I was on the receiving end of that charity, because now I understand the energy behind it. Because I was getting a hell of a lot of beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, things like that. And those are great, very protein heavy, that sort of thing. But there's only so many kidney beans, and there's only so many black beans, and there's only so many chickpeas one person can eat at a time. And you kind of get sick of it after a while. And I know I've worked at a food bank, and I know they get a lot of that. A lot of the sort of, yeah, this has been in my cupboard for a while, and I just, you know, I'm not going to use it, so here you go kind of thing. You don't get a lot of the cream of the crop kind of stuff, right? So being on the receiving end of that, I felt a little humbled, partly because I didn't get to make decisions on what I was going to eat. I had to eat what I was given. And so as generous as my friends were, and I am eternally grateful for it, I still felt a little robbed of my dignity a little bit, because I couldn't go in and just, you know, instead of bringing me a $10 grocery card, they brought me $10 worth of canned beans, right? And it's like, I would have bought the SpaghettiOs, or I would have bought, you know, the Heinz maple beans, or you know, whatever it might have been, right? Also too, you know, like they were giving to the food bank, so I got a lot of non-perishables, but I didn't get any fruit or vegetables or anything like that. And I'm not complaining at all. I'm just relaying to you the energy that feels like. So there is a person that sits outside of our local dollar store and begs for change, spare change. And I see a lot of people coming out and giving them, here's a drink, here's a bag of chips, here's, you know, whatever snack they got in the dollar store kind of thing. And to me, I feel that's a little undignified. I mean, I know they're being generous and that's awesome, but you're not allowing that person choice. And some people, and I've heard it said before, that, you know, I don't want to give them money because they'll just spend it on drugs and alcohol. If you're going to give without judgment. Give with unconditional love. If you're giving them a sandwich instead of cash, you're placing judgment on that gift, and there's strings attached, and one of the strings is, I'm in a position to judge you. I don't think you have the capability of making a sound judgment on what you should purchase. So I'm going to make the purchase for you so that you make a wiser decision in my mind, in my perspective. So for me, I always give, first of all, I always give them something. It might not be much, but I always give them something, and I always give them money, because money provides freedom and provides choices. And what you're saying when you give them money is, I'm trusting you to make the decision, but it's always your decision. I don't want to take that free will away from you, because that's, you know, as another human being, I don't feel that's right to take that free will. You may spend it on alcohol. You may spend it on drugs. You may spend it on something that's going to hurt you in some way, but that's your choice to do it. I'm here to provide some support and love, and to show you that I trust you, and I have hope for you, and I love you, and that you are not alone in this. So that's why I do that. So that's the law of giving. Giving with that unconditional love. If you're giving time, for instance, don't begrudge someone if you're at a volunteer kitchen or something and you spend 2 hours when you only meant to spend 1. You know, maybe the universe says you need to be here for 2 hours instead, right? So just keep that in mind. The universe is going to demand that you give in some way. So watch for the opportunities to be able to give, because that is a form of gratitude. Here I have so much I want to share with you. Okay? And so that's something you have to think about. You're going to be given opportunities to give, and the universe is going to watch how you respond. So that's one law. The other law is the law of receiving. So this is what is the big crux for a lot of people when they desire something. Say you're desiring something really big, right? A big payday of some kind, whatever that looks like for you. So when you start to really manifest something, and especially after one of the first rituals I give you, I'll tell you, it'll start to show up, but it'll show up in little ways. It's not necessarily going to be, bam, here's your thing. Sometimes it is, very rarely, but it ups your manifestation game when you're able to give, follow the law of giving, and follow the law of receiving. So we're often, even though we do place judgments sometimes on our giving, we're often better at giving than we are at receiving. So receiving means taking that compliment, taking that offer of help, and being gracious about it. Not, if someone says, hey, really nice dress, don't be like, oh, how dare you look at my appearance, or, oh, this old thing, that sort of thing. Because you're slapping them back in the face. Just take the compliment, say thank you, and be gracious about it always. Because sometimes people get awkward and, they're just, oh, she's beautiful, and nice dress, maybe it's like not the best compliment, but, take it as they give it. And the universe will give you small things. So, I can't think of any examples right now, but little opportunities will start to pop in, and it'll start to get on your visual, and that's a whole other thing. But there'll be ways that the universe will give you little gifts. It might be through someone else, it might be through surprise gifts, whatever it might be. Take the gifts with love and generosity and graciousness, with grace. Take all those gifts and be thankful for them. No, they're not the thing you're wanting right now, but it's sort of a practice run. It's as if, if you wish to win a big jackpot winning in the lottery, like you wanted the 25 million, let's say. Okay, so yeah, okay, that's great. But you have never won anything other than a free ticket in lottery. So this is an easy example, so I just thought of this. So perhaps the universe is going to have it so, hey, you win 50 bucks one week. Wow, okay, that's great. Not 25 million, but it's 50. You buy a ticket for the next week. And next time you win $500. And then the next time you win maybe $1,000. And it goes, it's not necessarily going to ramp up right to the 25 million. But you might find that you're winning bigger winnings because money will start coming in weird ways to get you used to accepting and receiving money. Because the universe might say, not sure you're ready to have $25 million rain down on you right now. Let's start with 500, and be grateful for that 500. And don't say something like, well, no, it's not the 25 million, but there's that big but, right? So just, I'm so glad I won the 500. I'm so glad I won the 70 bucks even, or the 50 bucks. I'm so glad I won it. So that you get used to what it's like to get that winning ticket. They say the same thing about paying bills, right? If you've got a really huge bill, sometimes it's hard to picture paying it off. Like sometimes people desire to pay off a big credit card bill. So we start with smaller bills, like what's it like to pay your phone bill or your hydro bill? You know what that energy is like. So put some gratitude around that energy that you're able to pay that hydro bill. And then we can tackle the big, $5,000 credit card bill or whatever it might be, right? So think about that. The gift of receiving, or the law of receiving, and the law of giving. Those two things come into place as you are manifesting. And the more you're manifesting, the more you'll find those laws come in. And when you really allow the flow of those laws to come in, your manifesting becomes very, very powerful. Because a lot of people will put it out there in the ether and go, well, I've been putting resumes out there and la la la, and then, you know, little things will start to come in, or little opportunities will come in where they could volunteer their time or their knowledge or whatever, and suddenly they're not doing these things, and then the manifestation kind of goes down. It's like, well, it doesn't seem to be coming in. So you must be willing to demonstrate you're willing to give in order to receive what you wished for, and you must demonstrate that you're willing to receive what you wished for, and you must demonstrate that willingness in order to receive it. And by demonstrating that is by taking the little gifts that come first. Kind of like Christmas morning. You know, you open your stocking first with all the little gifts, then you get to open, or at least in my house, that's how we did it, and then we get to open all the presents under the tree, which were the bigger gifts, right? So you have to demonstrate. So when the universe presents you with a stocking, open the gifts and be very thankful for it. Yes, I know your big gifts under the tree. You're going to get there. Remember that anticipation. It's already there. It's already under the tree. You know it's there. You just have to open the gifts and the stockings first. So do that. How bad is that, right? More gifts. So yeah, we need to accept, to receive these little gifts to start the stronger magnetic pull. That starts to pull more of what you're actually wanting into your life. What's coming into your life is what you want too, just a smaller version of it. So just keep receiving those. And then our bigger wishes will come to fulfillment. When you start to manifest a wish, pay close attention to invitations, gifts, and such that come your way. Accept as many of them as you can and do not feel guilty about it. Guilt will block the process. So don't be like, oh, you shouldn't have. Thank you so much. It's so generous of you. I'm so glad you're my friend and you're so kind to give this to me. So that's, you know, that's a good way to receive. Working with the law of receiving is what allows us to apply spiritual energies to our mental, emotional, and physical efforts to manifest our wishes. It is a way of saying that the spiritual part of you deserves and has the right to have your wishes fulfilled. So by being able to receive with gratitude, with love, and with grace, what you're doing is you're cleansing your soul and your spirit and saying, I am worthy. Because one of the biggest blocks we do put up is thinking we don't deserve what we've wished for. So learn to receive, and that's a big one for a lot of people, learning to receive. So if someone pays you a compliment, accept it graciously. If someone offers to give you something, accept it joyfully. If help is offered, accept it gratefully. So that's just what I wanted to kind of get out there kind of thing, some energy that's surrounding manifestation and how to become a stronger manifester to create the life of your dreams. And that's the beginning part of HEAP of Abundance. There are actual rituals and techniques that you can learn. If you'd like to know more, please contact me. I'm Lady Rose. You can find me on Facebook at Goddess Garage Tarot Parlor. I'll put the link in the comments below. You can also email me at heapofabundance@gmail.com. And again, I'll put that email in the comments below or in the description below so that you can find those. I hope you are living the life of your dreams already. And if you're not, please feel free to reach out to me. Thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe to my page if you'd like to know when new videos are posted up and be able to watch them. I have lots of playlists there for you. And I'm hoping to create lots of content on a very regular basis for you. So once again, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again later. Bye.